in terms of being hurt, obviously Andrew Luck, we know what happened over the weekend. You were on the air for your Sirius XM radio show on the Mad Dog channel.
When it broke, yeah.
Exactly. So are there any similarities? You retired at 28. Could there be some similarities where you heard this news and you heard about his rehabbing and being in this vicious cycle of rehab and pain and playing? Anything sound familiar to you?
Yeah, I mean, it did. Of course, I didn't have anywhere near the success in my pro career as he did. But I was so sick and tired of being beaten up physically and mentally as well, right? I was told how a bust I was. He's sick and tired of hearing, when are you going to play? Why is he always hurt? What's this about? I can understand that. He didn't fully come out and talk about like the mental anguish it has, but you could hear it in his voice and the idea that he didn't love something as much as that he used to. So there has to be something to be addressed there. And I believe he's going to address it. And so we may not know what a year from now looks like, but we know right now this is what he feels is best for him. So I imagine that day when I walked into Mike Holmgren's office and I just told him I quit. I didn't go into that, hey, I can't get up in the morning. I feel sad all the time. I don't know what to do with this. Instead, I just walked in and said, I quit. I thought his self-awareness and his ability to express and articulate the way he felt the last couple nights has been so impressive for everybody out there who's contemplating a decision in this vein or anything. That's the biggest thing I took away from this is his self-awareness in that moment. To have it all kind of thrown at him like that when he wanted to do it on his own terms on Sunday, to have to come out and talk about it afterwards, to deal with the fans, all the things. He's a perfect example for anybody out there who's contemplating or thinking about doing something in this nature moving forward.
Now, when you say, Ryan Leaf here on the Rich Eisen Show, that you could not articulate it to Coach Holmgren when you said, I'm out, and the way that how impressed you were that Luck was able to do it, what anguish is there for fans who are sitting here perhaps still not coming to grips with Luck's decision 2 weeks before the season with a Super Bowl ready team, it seems? What is that anguish?
I can't know that as a fan, right? Because I've never really truly been one. I was a Steelers fan growing up, and when Terry Bradshaw was hurt, I was, why isn't he?
Sure.
Why can't he be the guy? So it's hard for me to do that. I go right to the mindset of him and Andrew Luck and what it means to go through what he's going through.
But as a player, as you were talking about it, what is that anguish?
It's difficult, right? I tend not to even look at the injury side of what went on with me because I look at it as an excuse. I'm still stigmatized in that enough where I'm like, you're not the big tough football player, right? You couldn't talk about your mental illness with your coach. You couldn't talk to anybody after the fact. Like, you were banged up. You were hurt. You took on everything else from the outside, so that the anguish builds up and it can develop into in a dual diagnosis, one in a physical and a definite mental aspect of things. He's probably dealing with some sort of depression. I don't want to be a doctor or anything like that, but I mean, if you've gone from loving something so much to now almost, despising being there and dealing with those things, there's something that comes with that and needs to be addressed. And he's the person I think that's going to be able to go do that and work with the transition if he chooses not to ever play this game again.
My concern is with that, and I'd love to bring this up with you in the few minutes we have left. We heard Peter King talk about how if you had a guess, one player is going to be surprisingly retiring with so much of an upside, and it would be a guy who is Andrew Luck with his own book club and and is a deep thinker. That I'm already expecting the backlash coming from the scouting community next February, March, April. Guy has got too much going on outside of football. Football's not the number one thing. He's too much of a thinker. We need somebody who can understand the game, is intelligent, but don't think too much. And there's going to be maybe a red flag of people who sound or are as intelligent as Andrew Luck.
We saw this play out a year ago with Josh Rosen, I feel, where he felt like there was too much going on outside of the football realm, and there was kind of a red flag attached to him. That's why he wasn't necessarily drafted as high as he was.
Is there legitimacy to that?
Well, it's
belief?
a business, so of course there's a legitimacy in them making that decision. But I guarantee you right now, if a team could say they could get Andrew Luck for 7 years as your franchise quarterback, you take it. You want 1 year from a franchise quarterback. If you can get 7 from somebody, That in my mind is good enough. As a businessman, as we watch these businessmen make these types of business decisions in terms of what one season looks like, if you can get one player for one season like that, you're okay. So scouts, I know, want to be known for their scouting prowess on picking somebody in their longevity, right? But I mean, come on, the length of a career in the NFL is 2.8 years. I told everybody the other day I learned this the other day working with the NFL legends. There's only been 1,000 players ever to play 8+ years in the NFL in the 100 years of existence. So if you're a scout out there, what you got from Andrew Luck is exceptional. So be proud of that. Go out and continue to do the job. Find the best possible players, regardless of if they play 1 year or play 10 years. You go out and find the best one. That should be the scouting process moving forward, and I think they'll do that.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.